Caitlin Clark will miss at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Wednesday's game at the Mystics will be the first game she's ever missed.
Now, this is shocking on so many levels, man. We have never really witnessed Caitlin Clark getting hurt like that. She's always taken care of her body, and she pretty much stayed ready to go throughout college. Now, this is a shocker for me.
And if you're wondering what the foul on Cloud was, it was the final play when the Fever were down 2 points with seconds left in the game. Natasha Cloud is covering Caitlin Clark, and obviously, as shown right here, she is holding Caitlin Clark by the waist. She taps her shoulder right there.
WNBA referees are getting destroyed. And I mean, they are getting crushed online. Honestly, they're getting crushed during every single game.
And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable.
And the Fever, they now face a critical stretch without their star.
There are days in sports when the whole world seems to stop breathing. And today, Indiana just froze. Fever Nation's heart skipped a beat as the push alert hit every phone. Caitlin Clark out for a minimum of 2 weeks. The shock was instant, rolling through Gainbridge Fieldhouse and across every corner of the WNBA. Fans stared at their screens, jaws dropping as the realization set in. This isn't just any player, this is the rookie who's electrified the league. Suddenly, nothing felt certain anymore.
So this is being reported like wildfire, and it has just broken that Caitlin Clark is out with a left quad strain. Now, she was out also with a quad issue in one preseason game, which was the first game that Caitlin Clark had ever missed in her collegiate or professional career, though it was not an in-season game, and that was also due to tightness in her quad.
It all seems set up for a fairy tale run, Clark lighting up the scoreboard, turning every night into an MVP audition. She was everywhere, hitting shots that made the crowd gasp, making the impossible look easy. But just as Fever fans started dreaming, reality struck hard. That left quad strain didn't just sideline a player, it derailed the entire narrative, erasing weeks of future MVP talk in a single breath. So if you support Caitlin Clark, subscribe so you never miss a new update. It only takes a second for you, but it means a lot to us. Now, the chase for greatness is on hold, and everyone's left wondering what could have been.
Already having a remarkable sophomore year, Caitlin Clark has been balling on so many levels, playing lights out basketball, and it looked like she could be making a run for this year's MVP. Well, I'm here to tell you all of that has been derailed because Caitlin Clark is injured, bro.
For years, Caitlin Clark felt unbreakable, a warrior who outlasted everyone season after season. She was the rare star who never missed a game, always in the fight, always ready. That's why this news felt like a slap to the face, a shocker on so many levels. The Iron Woman of college and pro hoops is suddenly human, and the WNBA is struggling to process a reality where Clark can actually get hurt. It's a new chapter nobody saw coming.
Now, this is shocking on so many levels, man. We have never really witnessed Caitlin Clark getting hurt like that. She's always taken care of her body. She stayed healthy, and she pretty much stayed ready to go throughout college. Now, this is a shocker for me. Now, Caitlin Clark was ruled possibly out at the Atlanta Dream preseason game, and I'm here to tell you she played that game, and she played every other game since, man. Maybe it's something, bro, but this is shocking in itself.
Whispers spread like wildfire. Something about that bruising battle against New York just didn't feel right. Analysts start connecting dots. Was it a late game collision, a bad landing, some invisible play that sent Clark to get x-rays? Every replay is scrutinized, fans turning detectives, desperate to spot the moment when everything changed. In the age of viral sports moments, a single unseen injury has become the league's most talked about secret.
Something must have happened in that New York Liberty game that forced Caitlin Clark to go to the doctor to possibly get x-rays. I believe x-rays possibly determined Caitlin Clark was injured.
The update hit like a thunderclap. Caitlin Clark has suffered a left quadriceps strain, out a minimum of 2 weeks. Cold clinical words, but the meaning landed like a punch to the gut. Fever coaches suddenly faced a new reality, while teammates stared at the floor in disbelief. Even reporters stumbled through the official statement, their voices betraying the gravity of the blow. There's no spinning it. This was the nightmare scenario.
The Indiana Fever just released this information about 20 minutes ago. They stated Caitlin Clark has suffered a left quadriceps strain and will be out a minimum of 2 weeks.
History doesn't bend easily, but it snapped tonight. This will be the first time in Clark's entire collegiate and professional career that she'll miss a real official game. Not a preseason rest day, not a minute lost to blowouts. An honest-to-God absence from the one place she's always belonged. The stat that once felt invincible is now just a memory, and fans can't help but mourn the end of an era.
Chloe Peterson stated this will be the first time in her collegiate and professional career that she will miss an official game, not including preseason. I told y'all, Caitlin did not get hurt in college, bro. This is probably the first time she's been hurt ever, bro.
Desperation and devotion went viral in seconds. One frantic fan summed it up for a nation in mourning. She can literally have my quad. I don't need it. Social media erupted in panic, heartbreak. It's more than fandom. It's a full-blown cultural phenomenon, and nobody wants to imagine 2 weeks without their hero.
She can literally have my quad. I don't need it. Damn, injuries suck. I'm telling y'all, man, it all makes sense.
But for every broken-hearted fan, there was a troll waiting to dance. The haters, especially those who resented Clark's rise or backed her rivals, flooded timelines with memes, jokes, and taunts. Angel haters are coming out of the woodworks, ecstatic that Caitlin Clark is hurt. The injury wasn't just a story, it was fuel for every WNBA rivalry, and the social media wars got even uglier. If you wanted proof Clark is the center of the basketball universe, this was it.
Injuries haters are coming out of the woodworks. They are ecstatic that Caitlin Clark is hurt, bro. I can't even lie, dog. Injuries haters are, oh my God. They literally dancing.
It's not just Indiana that's nervous. Broadcasters and league execs are suddenly sweating too. I don't know if this is going to hurt viewership, but this is spooky, man. Clark's games were must-watch TV, spiking ratings every time she stepped on the court. Now everyone's holding their breath, hoping the WNBA can survive 2 weeks without its brightest star. Nobody wants to see what the numbers look like with Clark on the shelf.
Now, I don't know if this is going to hurt viewership. That is going to be the big thing. It's viewership, bro. I don't know if it's going to hurt viewership, but this is spooky, man.
In hindsight, everything clicks. Her shots were all very short. She was having a difficult time making those threes. Game tape from the Liberty matchup shows Clark struggling to lift off, her legs betraying her for the first time. What once looked like a shooting slump now feels ominous. A warning sign hiding in plain sight, and a clue that things were never quite right.
And I have to say that I did notice in the Liberty game, Caitlin Clark's shots were all very short. So it was showing that she wasn't like getting off, and she was having a difficult time making those threes, and a lot of explosiveness from those three-point shots does come from your legs. Her shot was just so obviously off, and for it to be short, it kind of makes a little sense.
The team without Clark is in chaos. The Fever look like a train without a conductor. No one else on the roster can run the show like she can. The offense stalls, the energy sags, and every possession feels lost. Coaches scramble to draw up new plays, but there's no backup plan for losing a generational playmaker. Suddenly, a young team is forced to grow up fast.
Now, getting into the basketball elements and how this affects the Indiana Fever, it does make me a little worried because the Indiana Fever do not have a backup playmaker anywhere near the level of Caitlin Clark.
But not all hope is lost. For once, the schedule gods smile. Up until the 14th, these games are winnable. The Fever are about to face a string of struggling teams, bottom feeders who aren't exactly juggernauts. If Indiana can hold the line, Clark could return just in time to chase a playoff spot. It's the thinnest silver lining, but for now, it's all the fans have.
On the 28th, the Indiana Fever will be playing the Mystics. On the 30th, they are playing the Connecticut Sun, who have not won a game. On the 3rd, they're playing the Mystics again. And on the 14th, they're going to run it back against the New York Liberty. So up until the 14th, I do see these games against the Sun and against the Mystics and against the Sky as winnable games. But if anything, this should be a lesson to the league and a lesson to the officiating.
Inside the locker room, a new mantra takes hold: patience above pride. Coach Stephanie White vows to keep Clark out until she's truly 100%, refusing to risk the franchise's future for a couple of rushed wins. She will keep Caitlin Clark out for as long as she needs to become healthy. It's a tough call, but one that sends a clear message. This team is playing for more than just next week.
And Stephanie White, when talking about players' injuries, she does talk about playing the long game, keeping Sophie Cunningham out for a longer stretch than what a lot of people thought was needed. So I'm feeling optimistic that she will keep Caitlin Clark out for as long as she needs to become healthy. In the meantime, the Indiana Fever will have to step it up without their key playmaker on the court.
It's not just Indiana on edge. The entire league's pulse is tied to Clark's well-being. Her health is the WNBA's health. Hurt Clark, hurt the league. Ratings, ticket sales, and national buzz all ride on her ability to play. Losing her, even for a few games, is a blow felt in every front office and every fan's living room. The message is clear. This is bigger than basketball.
Her health is of the utmost importance, 1, to her and her career, 2, to the WNBA's success, and 3, as the key playmaker for the Indiana Fever.
So, remember that last game? The refs basically just put their whistles in their pockets and let total chaos break out. Indiana fans were sitting there, stunned. Every time there was an obvious foul, nothing. Players were crashing into each other, and the refs just looked away like it was no big deal. You could feel the frustration building, not just on the court, but everywhere. Living rooms, bars, group chats. And now look what's happened. Caitlin Clark is out for at least 2 weeks. The fans aren't just upset, they're furious because everyone saw this coming.
One of the things that happened during this whole game is the referees for again, what, the second game in a row, I guess? Definitely for the second game of the season, the referees swallowed their freaking whistles when it came to the Indiana Fever, and Stephanie White has lost her mind.
If you wanted to see how mad people really are, just check Twitter. It's wild. Fans are calling out the WNBA refs, blaming them for letting things get out of hand. The clips, the memes, the rants. It's everywhere. What started with a few missed calls has turned into a total meltdown, with thousands demanding the league finally hold refs accountable. People aren't just mad about the calls anymore. They're saying the refs helped create the mess that got Caitlin hurt.
WNBA referees are getting destroyed. And I mean, they are getting crushed online. Honestly, they're getting crushed during every single game. I've seen a lot of people come out and say, the WNBA referees, is this what it's about? Because they're the worst referees in the history of any referees.
And the video that really set people off, there's this viral clip where a ref literally turns his back on Caitlin Clark as the clock's winding down, totally ignoring her in the middle of the play. How does that even happen? For Fever fans, it feels like betrayal, like their superstar was just left hanging, unprotected night after night. And now, with Clark injured, everyone's asking the same question. If the refs had done their jobs, would any of this even have happened? The league's got some real explaining to do.
Man, I can't play it again. I cannot play this again, bro. I mean, guys, this is how the day went. This is how, bro, this just proved everybody point. They have an agenda against the Fever. There was 3 referees. None of them turned their head to even look at Caitlin Clark, acknowledge her at all, bro.
The stakes couldn't be higher. If this strain lingers, it just ends their chances. A devastating blow to WNBA interest. A 2-week absence is bad enough, but if Clark isn't right by the end of June, the entire league feels it. MVP races, playoff dreams, and the WNBA's national moment all hang in the balance, waiting on a single quad to heal.
It just ends their chances, and it diminishes the interest in the WNBA as a whole. If we're being, like, more than diminishes, is a devastating blow to the interest in the WNBA as a whole, due to the magnetism and the Clark effect. They were saying cautious approach before. Hopefully this is a proactive approach that will allow her to be more active and even more effective later in the year.
And yet, hope refuses to die. Hopefully, this is a proactive approach that will allow her to be more effective later in the year. The Fever, the fans, and even the doubters know that sitting Clark now might save the season down the stretch. If Indiana can weather this storm, a fully healthy Clark could come back for the games that matter most, turning heartbreak into a comeback story for the ages.